So you're wondering the big differences of the cost and just the differences in living from Spokane, Washington to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you the difference in this cost and the different styles of living. They are two totally separate worlds. So if you want to know that information, stay tuned. What's up, everybody? My name is Jackson Wilkey. Absolute Passion is doing so many videos showing you exactly what it's like to live in Eastern Washington and Northern Idaho. If you want that information, then make sure you tap that subscribe button and you click the bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. We literally get dozens of phone calls, emails, texts every single month from people moving and relocating here, and we absolutely love it. So if you're even thinking about moving anywhere around these areas, we know them like the back of our hand. We'd be more than happy to help. But in order to do that, you got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when moving to North Idaho. So we need to get into the differences of Spokane versus Coeur d'Alene. They are two separate worlds. There's a lot of similarities, but at the same time, a lot of differences. You're going to be shocked towards the middle end of this video of the biggest difference, and that comes with a cost. So I want to first just do the cost of living between Spokane and Idaho, or Northern Idaho, and then we're going to get in kind of the differences, the pros and the cons of both. This is going to give you kind of an in-depth look of the differences, so in making your decision. So first and foremost, if we're going to be talking about costs, again, we got to go an even 100. So the national average is right at 100. We're going to be comparing these cities to that national average. So first and foremost, the overall average of living in Spokane, Washington is right at 92.3, whereas Coeur d'Alene is 106.2. So there's not a huge difference, but yes, Spokane is definitely more affordable. But what's making that more affordable? Let's start looking at a few of the things here. All right, so let's start with what you eat. So the cost for the groceries, it's actually a little bit higher, a tick higher in Northern Idaho. In Spokane, 98. Coeur d'Alene, 102. So they're right next to the national average. I think there's just a lot more kind of the lower end style grocery stores in the Spokane area, which brings that down a touch. But when it is cheaper, maybe for the cost, it's because their sales tax is a little bit higher too. So it's going to catch you right back up to those costs in Northern Idaho. So transportation, the big difference here is North Idaho doesn't really have any transportation, so its costs are at 80, whereas Spokane is 91. There is, a train that obviously goes through there and can take you out of the state, but there is some buses and that kind of stuff too. So your transportation costs, just because there's more of it, is more expensive. But look, they're both below the national average, so you're not going to have these huge like max rail systems like Portland or Seattle with the light rail. You don't see those around here as much, but there is a little bit more transportation in Spokane. Okay, so here's a huge difference, and that is the health cost. So in Spokane, you're seeing 83. North Idaho is 96, so they're both again lower than the national average. But I do know, living in North Idaho my whole life, we have the Big Blue, the one hospital there. Of course, there's little hospitals in each little city, but the main one is right in Coeur d'Alene, right off of Highway 95. So I think that's what brings up those costs, is we don't have as many resources. When you get into Spokane, there are some of the biggest hospitals, and there's great children's hospitals. So there's a lot of them right up just north of Highway 95. And so I think with all that variety of hospitals, it definitely brings those costs down a little bit more. All right, so there is a huge difference in living in Washington versus Idaho. So if you're over in Washington, no income tax, but you're going to have considerably higher sales tax than you will in Idaho. So you do not get the benefits of living in Washington, and working in Idaho and not paying that. Wherever you are working, you are going to pay income tax. So you can't live in Washington but work in Idaho. It doesn't work that way. So really, to get the benefits the most, if you are really worried about the income tax, I know retirees think about this a lot, and just people in general, you're going to want to live, reside, and work in Spokane. But here is the big difference before we kind of get into the different style of living of the costs. The median home price in Spokane, Washington is right around $218,000, where over in Coeur d'Alene, it's $323,000. So $105,000 difference there in the median home price. Now, what is doing this? Coeur d'Alene, it's really being driven up a lot of times by those huge houses on the lake, really nice neighborhoods, but it doesn't have as much room to grow. Like, there's really, until you get out to the Post Falls Prairie, Rathdrum Prairie, that's where all the new construction is, but Coeur d'Alene is a giant lake right there. It's landlocked. A lot of those houses downtown Coeur d'Alene, they're going to be more expensive, and it definitely drives the price up. It's an incredible place to live. Top schools, super safe. Spokane, I'm telling you, if you're living close to downtown, you're going to be in an old house. There's really no construction until you head farther out to the east, to the north, or even, yeah, like I said, to the east, coming back towards Coeur d'Alene, the Spokane Valley, Liberty Lake. That's where all the new construction is. But there are so many houses. Spokane is like super old. It's very, very old. I should probably know when it was really originated, but it's one of the first cities, civilized over here. So it has a way bigger downtown scene, but like literally living close to downtown is all older houses really close to each other, driving those prices down. So that is why the big cost is different. Now, if you go north of 95 up into the hills, you're going to find some of those older houses too that were settled a long time ago, but huge, gorgeous views of the entire downtown Spokane. So really incredible neighborhoods, but I think what's really driving those prices is all the stuff really close to downtown, smaller little 2-bed houses and stuff. So yeah, that's going to be the biggest difference, is you can actually get into a little bit more of affordable home, and you're also good, on average having a little bit higher pay over in Washington State as well. There's more jobs, there's more corporate structure, just a lot more jobs in general. So what's the differences? Living in North Idaho my whole life, what I go to Spokane for, we don't have anything here that I can go really watch concerts, sporting events, monster trucks. Alan Jackson comes to town, one of those things. I got to go to the Spokane Arena. So Spokane has a lot more to do. It's got a way bigger downtown scene, big ice skating rink. You got Gonzaga Bulldogs. I mean, that's like, everybody loves the Zags here. But we don't have professional sports, so you got to love the Zags. Or I'm a North Idaho Cardinal, played basketball at North Idaho College right in Coeur d'Alene, so I'm a Cardinal. But yeah, you go to Spokane to shop, to go to concerts, to see things. So if you want more of an active lifestyle and way more things to do, like a downtown scene and the concerts and stuff, Spokane's going to be better. But if you actually don't want that, you want the reverse of it, more of like the country living, the slower lifestyle, the lakes, the rivers, the mountains, yes, Spokane has a lot of too, but like that's the true mystique and beauty of Northern Idaho. In fact, there's areas like Dalton Gardens. You're literally 5 minutes from downtown Coeur d'Alene. You're next to Coeur d'Alene High School. But like my uncle's house, you got a couple acres. You're backed up to the mountains. You get herds of elk, that you get to see. Deer everywhere, but you're literally right close to downtown. It's so unique. But there's older neighborhoods, from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, where you get those big quarter-acre or bigger lots for your family. And then if you want the new construction, you obviously start heading west towards Spokane. So that gap in between Coeur d'Alene and Spokane and everything in between is now basically starting to grow together with all the new construction. So the biggest differences is, you got the lakes, rivers, streams, beauty, and all the hiking trails, everything you need really, really close in North Idaho and more of a small town feel. Spokane, you're going to have that more downtown scene. Again, that's like very broad. So if you kind of get outside of the downtown areas, you can have diverse living and incredible living in both. And guess what? We help and we work in both of those areas. So we have a team member who's ready for you, but only way to help you really decide what's going to be the best fit for you, whether it's Washington or Idaho. You got to reach out to us so we can weigh those factors. So to do that, you got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, day, nights, weekends. We don't care. We never stop working when moving you to North Idaho. So until the next video, guys, we'll catch you later.